Hey, legends in the making! You're tuned to WWE Uncovered, bringing WWE to your screen daily. Hit that bell, and let's start. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee did not raise their voices, but their message echoed louder than most promos on WWE RAW. Standing shoulder to shoulder, they spoke with the confidence of a team that knows exactly who they are and where they belong. There was no desperation, no exaggeration, and no need for theatrics. Every word felt deliberate. Every pause felt calculated. This was not about hype. This was about certainty. Styles carried the calm authority of experience, while Dragon Lee radiated the fire of momentum. Together, they looked less like challengers and more like a team already picturing victory. When they spoke about next week, it didn't feel like anticipation. It felt like expectation. In a division built on legacy, they made one thing clear. They are no longer waiting for recognition. They believe they have earned it. A backstage moment that shifted the division. Backstage interviews often feel routine, but this one carried a different energy. The setting was quiet, yet the implications were enormous. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee weren't selling a match. They were redefining it. The calm delivery made the message stronger, not weaker. Instead of shouting intentions, they laid out facts. This approach reframed the upcoming title bout as something far deeper than a standard defense. WWE thrives on moments where tone changes perception, and this was one of them. The tag division didn't just hear confidence, it felt conviction. These are the kinds of moments that elevate rivalries before fists ever fly. Without stepping into the ring, Styles and Lee placed pressure directly on the champions. The division shifted slightly off its axis, simply because belief was spoken aloud. Why confidence matters more than noise. In WWE, loud promos grab attention, but quiet confidence commands respect. AJ Styles demonstrated this perfectly. His words carried weight because they weren't exaggerated. He didn't claim dominance. He reminded everyone of results. This distinction is important. WWE audiences are conditioned to listen when accomplishments replace bravado. Styles didn't posture as an underdog or a hero. He positioned himself as someone who understands exactly what winning requires. That maturity changes how fans perceive a team. Dragon Lee complemented this energy by adding intensity without overshadowing it. Together, they struck a balance that few teams manage: confidence without arrogance, belief without recklessness. That combination often separates contenders from champions long before gold changes hands. Momentum built through proven battles. Momentum in WWE is rarely accidental. It's earned through consistent performances against credible opposition. The journey described by Styles and Lee wasn't framed as a lucky streak. It was presented as a process. Each victory added weight to their claim. WWE storytelling values continuity, and their path reflects that philosophy. Beating respected teams builds legitimacy, but acknowledging that journey builds credibility. Dragon Lee's words emphasize that progression matters. Wins are important, but how those wins stack together is what creates inevitability. Momentum becomes dangerous when it's recognized internally by the performers themselves. At that point, belief transforms into execution. This is where WWE often shifts from testing talent to trusting it. The power of experience meeting. Hunger Tag Team Wrestling thrives on balance. Styles represents experience, adaptability, and ring intelligence. Dragon Lee represents speed, innovation, and relentless drive. That combination is rare, and WWE knows it. Experience alone can become predictable. Hunger alone can become reckless. Together, they create something far more dangerous. WWE history shows that teams blending these qualities often peak quickly because they cover each other's weaknesses. This dynamic gives Styles and Lee an edge that goes beyond athleticism. It creates chemistry that feels organic rather than forced. Fans sense that authenticity immediately. When experience guides hunger instead of suppressing it, teams don't just chase titles, they redefine standards. How legacy shapes every tag. Title match. Tag team titles carry history, and every challenger steps into that shadow whether they acknowledge it or not. Styles and Lee leaned into that reality instead of avoiding it. By framing themselves as the standard, they positioned the match as a measuring stick. WWE often uses legacy as a pressure point, and this matchup is no different. Titles aren't just defended, reputations are tested. When challengers speak as if they belong at the top, the narrative shifts. Suddenly, the champions aren't just defending gold, they're defending relevance. That psychological edge can influence everything from pacing to crowd reaction. WWE thrives on these layered dynamics. Why this feels bigger than a single match. Some matches exist only for results. Others exist to change direction. This one feels firmly planted in the second category. The way Styles and Lee framed the challenge made it clear that win or lose, this moment matters. WWE often uses high-profile title matches to assess long-term chemistry and audience response. This bout feels like a checkpoint rather than a conclusion. Even before the bell rings, it carries implications for the division's future. That's how WWE elevates moments organically. When performers speak with purpose, creative direction often follows. This match doesn't just answer who wins, it hints at who stays in the conversation afterward. The importance of belief in WWE storytelling. Belief is one of WWE's most powerful storytelling tools. When performers genuinely believe their own words, audiences follow. Styles and Lee didn't ask fans to trust them. They demonstrated why trust makes sense. This is subtle but crucial. WWE audiences are perceptive. They recognize authenticity instantly. When belief aligns with presentation, storylines gain momentum naturally. This is how stars are built without forcing reactions. WWE has mastered this slow-burn approach, and this segment fits that formula perfectly. It's not about convincing viewers, it's about letting them arrive at the conclusion themselves. What this match represents for the division beyond titles, this match represents direction. Tag divisions thrive when identity is clear. Styles and Lee represent evolution, blending tradition with modern speed. WWE constantly evaluates which teams can carry that balance forward. This bout feels like a test not just of skill, but of vision. Who defines the division moving forward? WWE often answers that question through moments like this. The result will matter, but the performance will matter even more. Divisions grow when competition feels meaningful, and this matchup achieves that before it even happens. A defining moment, waiting to happen. Everything about this confrontation points towards significance. The calm confidence, the layered storytelling, the quiet pressure placed on the champions. WWE thrives on moments where expectation meets execution, and this is shaping up to be one of them. Whether Styles and Lee walk away with titles or not, they have already elevated their position. That alone speaks volumes. WWE doesn't always announce turning points. Sometimes it lets them unfold naturally. This feels like one of those times. When the bell rings, it won't just start a match. It will confirm whether momentum becomes legacy or remains a challenge yet to be conquered.